Introduction of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Written with suspense and a twisty tone. Opening scene, soft background music. Visuals of a beautiful wedding venue with flowers, lights, and smiling guests. Narrator, voiceover. They say love conquers all, that when two souls are meant to be together, nothing can come in their way. But what if love itself hides secrets? Secrets that could shatter everything in a single moment. Cut to slow-motion shots of the bride walking down the aisle, her eyes glowing with happiness, the groom smiling at her lovingly. Narrator, voiceover. Meet Ayan and Hania. A couple that seemed to have it all, charm, chemistry, and a love story straight out of a fairy tale. Everyone around them envied their bond, their laughter, their connection. It felt perfect. Flashbacks of them laughing in cafes, taking romantic walks, exchanging messages late at night. Narrator, voiceover. They met by chance, or was it fate? A bookstore, a shared favourite novel, and a conversation that lasted hours. From strangers to lovers, their journey captured hearts. Both families approved. The dates were set, the wedding was planned. Scenes of wedding preparations, mehndi, dolki, dresses, guest dancing, cousins teasing the couple. Narrator, voiceover. But behind the colourful decorations and sparkling smiles, something was brewing. A truth so dark it could turn love into betrayal and joy into disaster. Cut to a mysterious figure receiving a message on their phone. Zoom into the message. You won't believe what I just found out about Ayan. Narrator, voiceover. As the wedding day approached, whispers began to surface, hidden calls, deleted messages, a few unasked questions that no one dared to answer. But someone knew, and they weren't going to stay silent. Cut to a close-up of the bride's face in the mirror. Her expression changes from joy to confusion as her phone vibrates. Narrator, voiceover. In a world where appearances mean everything, what happens when the truth comes crashing through the door, right in the middle of a sacred ceremony? Music builds up. Cut to the groom turning pale at the altar, guests gasping. A voice yells, "Stop this wedding!" Narrator, voiceover. This is not your typical love story. This is a tale of choices, secrets, and consequences. A marriage that promised forever, but was built on a lie. Fade to black. Text on screen. This shocking marriage story will leave you stunned. Narrator, voiceover. Stay with us, because what you're about to witness will challenge everything you believe about love, loyalty, and trust.
Meet the couple segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens with soft romantic music, shots of a bustling university campus, students chatting, walking, and laughing. Narrator, voiceover. Before the chaos, before the secrets unraveled, there was a simple beginning. Two people, two hearts, one unexpected meeting. Camera zooms in on a young man helping someone pick up dropped books near a campus cafe. Narrator, voiceover. Meet Ayan, smart, charming, and ambitious. A final-year business student with big dreams and a soft heart. He had the reputation of being responsible, kind, and always willing to lend a hand. He was the kind of guy everyone trusted. Montage of Ayan in class, giving a presentation, laughing with friends. Narrator, voiceover. But Ayan carried more than just books on his shoulders. A quiet burden of being the only son, the hope of his parents, and the pillar of a family that had seen tough times. Cut to a warm family dinner at Ayan's home. His mother smiles proudly as he talks about his internship. Narrator, voiceover. And then there was Hania. Switch to a graceful young woman sketching designs in a journal, surrounded by fabrics and color palettes. Narrator, voiceover. Creative, bold, and full of life. Hania was studying fashion design, known for her unique style and fearless attitude. A free spirit raised in a traditional household, she was the heartbeat of her family. Montage of Hania laughing with her siblings, helping her mother in the kitchen, and presenting her designs in class. Narrator, voiceover. Her father wanted her to be strong, independent, but also reminded her every day that good girls don't cross certain lines. She lived between dreams and expectations. Scene transitions to a library. Ayan reaches for the same book Hania does. Their hands touch. They laugh. Narrator, voiceover. And that's how it all began. A simple book, a shared love for stories. One long conversation turned into daily texts, late night calls, and stolen glances between classes. Montage of their growing friendship, study sessions, coffee dates, and long walks through the C campus gardens. Narrator, voiceover. Over time, Ayan became her calm, and she became his color. Where he was logic, she was passion. Where he was grounded, she made him dream. Cut to a scene where Ayan meets Hania's family for the first time. Her mother smiles. Her father looks serious, but intrigued. Narrator, voiceover. Their love didn't take long to win over their families. Meetings turned into rishtas, and laughter turned into wedding plans. Everyone believed this was destiny, a love story written in the stars. Slow motion of them exchanging rings at an engagement party. Guests cheer, cameras flash. Narrator, voiceover. But fate had a different story in mind. The romantic beginning segment of This Shocking Marriage Story will leave you stunned. Scene opens with gentle romantic music. Soft visuals of Ayan and Hania sitting under a tree on campus, talking and laughing. Narrator, voiceover. It started like a breeze, quiet, gentle, unexpected. But in no time, it became a storm that neither of them could escape. Ayan and Hania's story wasn't just love, it was magic. Flashbacks of late-night phone calls, playful arguments, and surprise visits. Narrator, voiceover. Every day brought them closer. From shy smiles to stolen glances, from awkward texts to endless conversations. They didn't realize when friendship turned into something deeper, something they both feared and craved. Scene, Ayan waiting outside Hania's class with coffee. She walks out surprised. He grins. Narrator, voiceover. Ayan knew how to make her feel special. He remembered the little things, her favorite coffee, the way she hated rainy days, how she always wore blue when she was nervous. Scene, Hania fixing Ayan's tie before a presentation. Narrator, voiceover. And Hania? She brought light into his life. Her laugh, her chaos, her dreams, they inspired him. She made him believe that love didn't have to be a weakness. It could be his strength. Montage, trips to the beach, long drives, singing along to music, laughing over street food. Narrator, voiceover. They weren't perfect. They fought, they disagreed, they challenged each other. But in every storm, they found shelter in each other. Their bond grew stronger with every passing moment. Scene, Ayan writing a note and slipping it into Hania's sketchbook. She opens it later and smiles. Narrator, voiceover. Their love was in the details. The little gestures, the surprise notes, the quiet support during hard days. They celebrated each other's wins and stood through each other's failures. Scene, Hania's design gets selected for an exhibition. Ayan lifts her in celebration. Her eyes fill with tears. Narrator, voiceover. When Hania's dreams took flight, Ayan was the wind beneath her wings. And when Ayan doubted himself, Hania became his voice of reason, his anchor. Visual of both families sitting together, sharing laughter. Hania leans on Ayan's shoulder. Narrator, voiceover. As their love blossomed, so did the hope of a future together. The families met, blessings were exchanged, and promises were made. Cut to a romantic dinner. Ayan holds Hania's hand across the table. Ayan, smiling. I don't know where life will take us, but I do know it won't be complete without you. Hania softly. Then let's write our story together, page by page. Montage of their engagement shoot, their hands intertwined, their smiles genuine. Narrator, voiceover. It was the kind of love that made people believe. A connection so real, so deep, it felt unbreakable. Music softens, fade to black. Narrator, voiceover. But even the strongest stories have their cracks, and theirs was about to shatter. Family drama segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens with tense background music. Ayan's parents are sitting in the living room, quietly whispering to each other. His father looks worried. Narrator, voiceover. Just when everything seemed perfect, the real world knocked on their fairy tale. Love, after all, doesn't grow in isolation. It grows in the middle of expectations, traditions, and judgment. Cut to Ayan walking in. His father looks up with a stern face. Ayan's father. We need to talk about this Rishta, Ayan. Her family is different. Their values, their lifestyle. I'm not sure they're the right match. Ayan looks confused, a little hurt. Narrator, voiceover. For Ayan's father, it wasn't just about love. It was about legacy, honor, and keeping the family's traditions alive. Hania's modern outlook, her bold nature, they didn't sit well with him. Scene shift. Hania's home. Her mother is crying quietly while her father paces the room. Hania's father, angrily. Fashion designing? Campus love? What is this, Hania? You think marriage is a game? That boy, he's not like us. Hania, frustrated. But he respects me. He supports me. Isn't that what matters? Narrator, voiceover. For Hania's father, love was never the priority. Stability was. And a boy from a middle-class background, no matter how kind, didn't fit into the future he had imagined for his daughter. Montage of both families discussing, arguing, elders shaking their heads. Narrator, voiceover. The whispers turned into arguments. Support turned into silence. Suddenly, the same families, who once smiled together, couldn't even agree on a guest list. Scene Ayan and Hania meet at a quiet spot in a park. They sit in silence for a moment. Ayan softly. Maybe they're right. Maybe we're forcing something that was never meant to be. Hania, teary-eyed. Or maybe they've just forgotten what love looks like. Flashbacks of happier times, their laughter, their dreams, their promises. Narrator, voiceover. It was a test neither of them saw coming. A love so strong, now being pulled apart by pride, status, and fear of what people might say. Scene. Both families meet for a tense sit-down. Voices raised, emotions high. Hania's mother tries to calm things, but fails. Narrator, voiceover. The wedding that was once the talk of the town now seemed impossible. And yet, in the heart of the chaos, Ayan and Hania made a decision to fight for what they believed in. Scene. Ayan stands up firm. Ayan, I won't give up on her. If I have to choose between love and fear, I choose love. Hania looks at him, a mix of hope and disbelief. Narrator, voiceover. It was bold, it was risky, but it was them, against the world. Or so they thought. Music darkens. A mysterious phone call comes through. A hand answers. The voice says, "There's something you don't know about Ayan." Narrator, voiceover. Because sometimes the enemy doesn't come from outside. It lives within the shadows of love. Secret revelation segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens with dramatic music. A wedding hall is being decorated. Workers are rushing, family members are busy with arrangements, and everything looks festive. Narrator, voiceover. The stage was set, the lights, the music, the smiles, all ready to witness the union of two souls. But behind the scenes, something dark was about to surface. A truth buried deep, clawing its way out. Cut to a close-up of a phone buzzing. A text appears on screen. You deserve to know the truth before it's too late. Narrator, voiceover. It started with an anonymous message, one that would change everything. Scene. Hania is sitting in her room in bridal makeup, glowing, laughing with her cousins. Her phone buzzes. She checks it. Her smile slowly fades. Hania, reading aloud. Do you really know the man you're marrying? Another message pops up. It has a photo. Hania zooms in. Her face drops. Narrator, voiceover. In a matter of seconds, joy turned to shock. That photo, Ayan, and another woman. Cut to flashback clips. Ayan with another girl at a cafe, holding hands, laughing. A timeline that overlaps with his relationship with Hanaya. Narrator, voiceover. The woman was Meher, Ayan's ex. A relationship he never mentioned. One that didn't completely end when he met Hanaya. Scene, Hanaya confronts her best friend in a corner. Hanaya, did you know about this? Why didn't anyone tell me? Best friend, hesitant. I thought he was over her. I thought it didn't matter anymore. Narrator, voiceover. But it did matter. Because love without honesty is just a beautiful lie. And on the day of her wedding, Hanaya was drowning in it. Scene, Ayan getting ready in the groom's room, fixing his sherwani. One of his friends rushes in. Friend, whispering. She found out, Ayan. Someone sent her the pictures. Ayan, shocked. What? Who would do this now? Narrator, voiceover. Ayan's past had caught up with him, not because of fate, but because of choice. He thought silence would protect what he had with Hanaya, but silence had a voice of its own, and it screamed louder than truth. Scene, Hanaya walks out of her room, bridal dupatta trailing behind her, rage and heartbreak in her eyes. Narrator, voiceover. And just minutes before the nikah, the bride disappeared. Guests murmuring. Hania's father angrily asks, "Where is she?" Ayan paces nervously. Narrator, voiceover. The secret was out. The whispers turned to questions. The wedding was no longer about union. It became about survival. Scene, Hania standing alone near the back exit, tears rolling down her face. Hania, softly. Why does love come with lies? Narrator, voiceover. The fairy tale had cracked, and in its place stood a girl betrayed, and a boy who didn't think the truth would matter, until it did. Fade to black. A new message appears on screen. This isn't the only secret. Narrator, voiceover. Because in this story, one secret leads to another. Wedding chaos segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens with upbeat wedding music. Guests are arriving, flower petals are being tossed, and the stage is glowing with lights. Everyone is smiling, unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Narrator, voiceover. The wedding was in full swing. Colors, laughter, celebration. But beneath the sparkle, hearts were cracking. Cut to the groom's side, laughing and taking selfies. Ayan forces a smile, but he keeps checking his phone. Narrator, voiceover. Ayan had no idea if the wedding would still happen. Hanaya hadn't answered a single call. Every minute felt like a lifetime. Scene shifts to the bride's dressing room. Her cousins are fixing her dupatta, but Hanaya sits still, staring at her reflection, eyes cold, lips trembling. Cousin, cheerfully. Hanaya, it's time. You look like a princess. Hanaya, quietly. A princess doesn't marry a liar. She suddenly stands, grabs her phone, and walks out, leaving her cousins confused. Narrator, voiceover. She couldn't go through with it. Not like this. Not after knowing everything. Scene cuts to the wedding hall. A hush falls as someone whispers, "The bride is missing." Guests turn and look around in confusion. Narrator, voiceover. The music stopped, the smiles faded. A silence took over, the kind that makes your heart pound in your ears. Ayan's mother rushes to Hania's side of the family. Ayan's mother. What's going on? Where is she? Hania's father, angrily. Maybe she realized your son isn't the saint you made him out to be. Chaos erupts. Guests begin murmuring louder. Someone checks social media. The leaked photo is already circulating. Narrator, voiceover. What was supposed to be a sacred ceremony turned into a spectacle. Eyes once filled with joy now burned with judgment. Suddenly, the main door swings open. Hanaya enters, still in her bridal dress, but with no makeup left, just raw emotion. Hanaya, loudly, "Stop everything," gasps, all eyes on her. Ayan looks like he's seen a ghost. Hania, voice shaking. I want to know, in front of everyone. Was it true, Ayan? Was she just a mistake, or was I just the backup? Ayan stares at her, speechless. Narrator, voiceover. The truth that once hid behind closed doors was now standing under 1,000 eyes. After a long pause, Ayan finally speaks. Ayan, softly. I ended it, but I should have told you. I didn't want to lose you. Hania. You already did. She removes her jewelry, one piece at a time, and places it gently on a nearby table. Then she walks out of the hall, head held high, tears streaming down. Narrator, voiceover. No screaming, no breakdown, just silence, the kind that comes when a heart finally breaks beyond repair. Guests begin to leave. The music never resumes. Narrator, voiceover. The wedding was over, not because love died, but because the truth lived. Public reaction segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens with guests standing in stunned silence. Some whisper, others stare at the door where Hanaya just walked out. Narrator, voiceover. She left. Not just the stage, not just the ceremony, but everything that wasn't real. And in that moment, the fairy tale shattered, in front of everyone. Cut to Ayan standing still on stage, frozen as his mother rushes to him. Ayan's mother panicked. Ayan, say something. What just happened? What is she talking about? He doesn't respond. His eyes are fixed on the exit. Narrator, voiceover. His silence spoke louder than any lie ever could. And suddenly, the beautiful wedding turned into a battlefield of emotions. Cut to Hania's mother crying while her husband fumes, pointing fingers at Ayan's family. Hania's father, angrily. You think we would have let this rishta go ahead if we knew what kind of boy he is? You hid everything from us. Ayan's father, defensive. We didn't hide anything. It was just the past. Hania's uncle, shouting. Then maybe he should have married his past. Camera pans across the wedding hall. Guests pulling out phones, filming, whispering, shaking their heads. Narrator, voiceover. The news spread like wildfire. A picture, a truth, a bride walking out. It was no longer just a wedding. It was a scandal. Cut to Hania's cousins arguing with Ayan's friends. One friend tries to stop the video recording, but it's too late. Guest, to another. This is going viral. It's already on 3 WhatsApp groups. Narrator, voiceover. And just like that, a private heartbreak became public humiliation. Ayan's grandmother sits in a corner, crying softly, whispering prayers. Ayan's mother covers her face in shame. Narrator, voiceover. Families that once shared laughter now couldn't even make eye contact. Scene. Outside the hall, Hania sits in a car, dress crumpled, makeup smudged. Her best friend holds her hand. Best friend softly. You were so brave. Not many girls would have done what you did. Hania, quietly. I didn't walk away from love. I walked away from a lie. Scene shifts back inside. Ayan sits alone on the stage, now cleared of decor. The wedding songs have stopped. The photographer slowly packs up his camera. Narrator, voiceover. Ayan had everything ready. The suit, the rings, the promises. But what he didn't have was the courage to tell the truth when it mattered most. Guests begin leaving. Some look back once, others shake their heads. Guest, whispering, poor girl, dodged a bullet. Narrator, voiceover. In one night, reputations were questioned, relationships were tested, and 2 families were torn apart. Slow motion of the empty stage, scattered petals, and a chair knocked over. Narrator, voiceover. This wasn't just a broken wedding. It was a mirror, showing everyone what happens when love is built on secrets. Fade to black, on screen, but the real twist is yet to come. Confrontation segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens in a private room at the wedding venue. Ayan is pacing, his sherwani untidy, hair messed up. Suddenly, the door bursts open. It's Hania. Narrator, voiceover. The silence didn't last long. Pain demands answers, and when hearts break in front of the world, the confrontation isn't gentle, it's explosive. Hania, furious. Why didn't you tell me, Ayan? Why did I have to find out through a message? Ayan, defensive. Hania, it was over. Meher meant nothing after you. Hania, shouting. Then why hide it? You don't get to decide what part of your truth I should know. She throws her phone on the table, the photo still visible. Ayan looks away. Ayan, lowering his voice. I was scared, scared I'd lose you. Hania, tears in her eyes. You did lose me. The moment you chose a lie over honesty. Scene cuts to both families barging into the room, shouting over each other. Ayan's father steps in front of him protectively. Ayan's father. This is a misunderstanding. You're overreacting. Every man has a past. Hania's father, furious. And every daughter has a right to know who she's marrying. Hania's uncle. You think we're fools? Hiding affairs? And now you expect us to sit quietly? Ayan's mother, crying. We didn't know she would react like this. What's done is done. Hania, firmly. This isn't a reaction. This is a realization that I almost married someone who didn't trust me with the truth. Scene. Voices rising, people shouting over each other. Ayan suddenly yells. Ayan, angrily. Enough! Everyone just stop! The room goes quiet. He turns to Hania, tears in his eyes now. Ayan, softly. I messed up. I should have told you. But I loved you, Hania. I still do. Hania, shaking her head. Then you should have loved me enough to be honest. A pause. Heavy silence fills the room. Hania's father, coldly. This wedding is off. Let's go, Hania. He grabs her hand. Ayan steps forward. Ayan, please, don't leave like this. Don't let this be the end. Hania, quietly. The end wasn't today. It was the day you decided I wasn't worth the truth. She walks out, her family following. Ayan stands still, broken. His mother weeps. His father looks defeated. Narrator, voiceover. There are fights that break plates, and then there are fights that break people. This one shattered everything. Camera pans to the empty room, a torn garland on the floor. The photo of Ayan and Hania from their engagement lies cracked in a broken frame. Narrator, voiceover. And now only one question remains. Can what's broken ever be made whole again? Fade to black. On screen. The aftermath, coming next. Aftermath segment of This Shocking Marriage Story will leave you stunned. Scene opens with dark, somber music. Ayan stands alone in his now empty room, the wedding decorations still up but neglected, as if time had frozen. Narrator, voiceover. The wedding was over, but the pain, it was just beginning. What was meant to be a celebration ended in a storm of shattered hearts and broken promises. Cut to Hania's home. She's sitting on her bed, staring blankly at the wedding photo that never got taken, tears in her eyes. Narrator, voiceover. For Hania, the world had crumbled. She had lost more than just a wedding. She had lost the trust she once gave so freely, the man she thought she knew. Scene, Ayan at a cafe, scrolling through his phone. He sees a text from Hania. I need space. Don't contact me. He stares at it, heartbreak evident on his face. Narrator, voiceover. The silence between them was deafening. No more late-night talks, no more sweet gestures, just an endless void of what-ifs and why-nots. Scene shifts. Hania walking through the market, trying to ignore the constant whispers from others. She stops at a street vendor selling flowers and buys a single rose. Narrator, voiceover. Hania tried to move forward, but the world, their world, was still buzzing with the memory of what happened. She didn't want sympathy, but she also couldn't escape the judgment. Cut to Ayan's house. His mother and father sit in silence. Ayan walks in, looking defeated. Ayan's father, gruffly, don't sit there like that. What's done is done. Now fix it. Ayan, broken. I tried. I swear I tried, but I ruined everything. Ayan's mother, tears in her eyes. You need to talk to her. Make things right before it's too late. Scene cuts to Hania at a family gathering. She's laughing with her cousins, but there's a tension in her eyes. Suddenly, her phone buzzes. It's Ayan's name. Narrator. Voiceover. The days turned into weeks. Both tried to forget, to heal. But some wounds, they don't close that easily. Scene, Hania looking at her phone, hesitating. She picks up the call. Ayan over the phone, trembling. Hania, I can't live like this. I know I've lost your trust, but please, just let me explain. Hania, coldly. There's nothing left to explain. You lied, you didn't trust me, and now you want me to just forget? Ayan, desperate. Hania, I can't undo the past, but I can try to fix the future. Give me one chance to prove it. Pause. Hania sighs deeply. Hania, you should have thought of that before. Scene shifts. Ayan sitting in a quiet cafe, lost in thought, the rain pattering against the window. Narrator, voiceover. Ayan had reached out, but it wasn't just about saying the right words anymore. It was about showing her that love wasn't about promises. It was about actions. Scene. Ayan standing outside Hania's apartment, holding a bouquet of roses. The door opens slightly. Hania stands behind it, her expression unreadable. Narrator, voiceover. And so, the waiting game began. For both of them, for love, and for healing. Hania finally steps outside, looking at Ayan with guarded eyes. He holds out the roses. Ayan, I don't deserve another chance, but I'll wait forever, if you'll give me that chance to earn your trust. She looks at the flowers, then back at him. Narrator, voiceover. The road to forgiveness is never easy, but sometimes it's worth taking that first step, no matter how broken the path might seem. Cut to a close-up of Hania's face as she takes a deep breath, her hand slowly reaching for the roses. Narrator, voiceover. And so, in the middle of the wreckage, they took the first step, not to recreate their past, but to rebuild something stronger. Scene fades to black. On screen, every love story has its scars, but some scars heal. Conclusion with a twist segment of This Shocking Marriage Story Will Leave You Stunned. Scene opens with serene music playing, a beautiful sunset in the background. Ayan and Hania are sitting on a bench, looking at the horizon in silence. Narrator, voiceover. In the quiet aftermath of chaos, some find peace, and some find a way to heal. Ayan and Hania were no different. The wounds, though deep, were beginning to fade. The trust was slowly rebuilding, and perhaps love would have another chance. Ayan turns to Hania, looking hopeful. Ayan, softly. I know it's not easy, but I promise I will never keep anything from you again. Hania, nodding with a small smile. I'm willing to try, Ayan, but it will take time, and a lot of work. Narrator, voiceover. And so they started again. Not with promises, but with actions. The relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real. They began to rebuild. Or so they thought. Scene. Ayan and Hania walking through a park. They stop at a small cafe and sit down. Narrator, voiceover. As the days went on, they slowly started to feel like themselves again. But sometimes life throws one last twist, and this twist no one saw coming. Cut to a scene of Hania checking her phone. A text appears from an unknown number. You should know the truth before it's too late. Ayan isn't who you think he is. Narrator, voiceover. It was a text. An anonymous warning, the kind that makes your stomach drop and your heart race. Hania's fingers trembled as she read the message. She opens the message and gasps. Ayan's name is mentioned with a photograph attached. Narrator, voiceover. The photo was from their early days, a different time, a different place. But it wasn't just any photo. It was of Ayan and Meher, the woman from his past. Scene. Hania looks at the photo closely, her expression turning to disbelief. Hania, whispering, No, This can't be happening. She picks up the phone, her hands shaking, and calls Ayan. Ayan, answering with a warm tone. Hey, Hania, everything okay? Hania, voice trembling. Tell me the truth, now, about everything. Ayan hesitates, then sighs deeply. Ayan, I told you everything. What more do you want to hear? Hania, forcefully. Then why is this still a secret? She sends him the photo. His face drops as he sees it. Narrator, voiceover. It wasn't the photo that shocked her the most. It was the truth behind it. Ayan hadn't just hidden his past with Meher. He'd hidden another layer, something far more dangerous. Scene, flashbacks of Ayan secretly meeting with a mysterious man in a dark alley. Handshakes, money being exchanged. Narrator, voiceover. Ayan had debts, huge ones, debts that came from a past he couldn't escape, and he hadn't been running away from just Meher. He had been running from a world that was threatening everything he had built, including Hania. Cut back to Hania, her face pale as she hangs up the phone. Narrator, voiceover. The truth wasn't just about love, it was about survival. Ayan's entire life was built on lies, and now those lies were ready to destroy everything. Scene shifts to Ayan walking in the park, unaware that Hania is following him. She stops, hidden behind a tree, watching him meet with a stranger again. Narrator, voiceover. The second twist? It wasn't just his past he was hiding, it was his future that was being stolen. The mysterious man hands Ayan a briefcase full of cash, and Hania gasps as she realizes the scale of the danger. Narrator, voiceover. The man she thought she loved was living a double life. And the consequences? Far greater than she could have imagined. Scene cuts to Hania walking away, a mixture of betrayal and fear in her eyes. Narrator, voiceover. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes it's the truth that either saves or destroys you. And in the end, Hania was faced with the hardest decision of her life. Stay with the man she thought she knew, or run before it was too late. Fade to black, the sound of footsteps echoing in the distance. Narrator, voiceover. Trust is fragile, and in a world full of secrets, sometimes the deepest scars are the ones no one ever sees. On screen, the end, or is it?